there, welcome back to my channel, Uniquely Reagan Handcrafted Cards. Today I'm going to make my Craft Roulette submission for episode number 281. And this week's parameters were to make a 4x6 card and to use coffee aisle colors you might see in the coffee aisle. So I have picked out some colors from a paper pad that I've shown you before. I got it at a thrift shop or a yard sale, and I had this in my fall themed bin, and so I've just been kind of working my way through it, picking out papers for cards I could use as fall themed products. You could see there's some gaps here, so I have picked out some along the way. And we need to use something from a tree as an element. So I have two things from a tree. My stamped image of books, those are from trees. And my other thing that's from a tree is actually my card base. I used to work at a paper mill, and I was gifted some paper from the paper machines that we made cardboard liner for at the paper mill. I'm actually going to be going back to work for them part-time. So this is a really good opportunity for me to make a card, because I had gifted them some of my cards to use to give to employees. And so I like to do that, just give away cards too. So paper is made from trees, as you know, and the paper that was made at the mill I worked at was used for cardboard liner or pizza boxes or boxes of all kinds of type, but cardboard liner. So that's why this specific paper is craft color on one side and white lined on the other side. So I think that would make a good card base. I have already cut this into 6 inches by 8 inches and scored it in half at 4 to give me my 4x6 card. And the last element that we need to use is random outside the lines. So I'm going to show you how that's going to work as I get this card put together. I had colored up a bunch of the images from this In My Book stamp set that I got this month from Stamps of Life, and I had them already cut out and everything with the dies in this little pouch where I keep the stamps and dies. And so I pulled one of the images out here, and this is the stack of books and the little coffee cup that I'm going to put on top. And I do have a sentiment already stamped out as part of the same In My Book stamp set. It says, "Hope your birthday is a real page turner." So I'm going to use that as well. And I think the dark purple, it's a pansy color stamp pad from the Stamps of Life. That's what color ink that is on there. That plays nicely with the dark browns on the paper. So I think that'll work great. So let me get this put together. I'll show you the sketch I'm going to use. It's Operation Write Home sketch number 14 is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to modify the length and the width to get my 4x6 card. So let me get these things trimmed up. And I think I'll use the swirl pattern as my background layer. So let me trim that so I've trimmed that to 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. So that's just leaving a nice border all the way around. That's going to be my background layer for my card. Let me fold this so you can see what I'm doing here. So here's my card base. There's my sketch. And then I need a piece that is 2 1/4 by 4. And I think that I'm going to use this one here behind as this element. So let me cut this in 2 1/4 width by 4 inches. That's the height of my card. Actually, I'll come to 3 7/8 because that's the width of the one panel. So this will just layer like that. That's a little wide. I'm going to trim that down just a little bit to 1 3/4 by 3 7/8. I'm going to use this strip on the inside of the card. So I'm going to lay that right there so I know what I'm doing. And then this piece here, I'm going to trim it to about 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 and see what that looks like. A little bit more. This is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I think I need to layer it onto something here. I have more of this paper. Let me get one of these strips out here and see if this is wide enough. I'm going to use the white side this time instead of the craft. This is that paper from my paper mill that I worked at. So I'm going to layer that piece here. So let me just trim this out to this piece here. I think I'll only use a little 1/8 inch border. So this is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I just trimmed the layering piece, which is another piece of the same cardstock that I'm using for my card from the paper mill. So I'm going to layer that just like that. That's going to make it stand out. Now I'm going to glue this one straight down and this one on the layer. But my outside the lines is I'm going to just get a little bit here. I've got some twine that's in it's a tan, light brown color, very, very light. So I'm just gonna wrap it around my hands a couple of times and leave the strings loose, kind of in a little bit of a wad here. So I've got some loopies. And I think I'm going to put that behind I'm gonna leave that like that, and then put my stack of books on top of that. So this is the string, the twine is going to represent my outside the lines because it's going over the lines of the little, it's almost like a tag. And we could cut this in the shape of a tag too. And then this will go on top. I think that's really nice. And then I could put my sentiment down here, which I might layer that on something. Okay, let me get this glued together. I'm going to leave this like this because I like that looped look. Let me glue this together here. Okay, that was Operation Right Home sketch number 14 that I used for my Craft Roulette card for episode number 281. And I have a 4x6 card using papers from a tree. And so that's what I'm using here to make my from a tree element, was paper from a paper mill I worked at, plus the stack of books. They're all from a tree. That's what paper's made of. Our coffee aisle colors. We've got dark coffee, and then we have a cream colored paper or lighter colored coffee. And then our random element was outside the lines. I have several things going outside the lines. Our sentiment is outside the lines. It's not straight on this rectangle panel here. Our coffee cup is going outside the lines at the top of this rectangle. And most importantly, our twine is outside the lines all over the place. It did not know how to play well, did it? So that's my card for episode number 281. I'm going to link the video in the card up here if you want to see me color up these images from the in my book stamp set, and another card at the end of the video if you want to see me making a whole bunch of cards using these images. I'll link that at the end of the video for you. And I hope that you enjoyed watching me put my card together for episode number 281 for Craft Roulette. I had a really fun time, as always. I'm really enjoying it. So if you want to find out what Craft Roulette is all about, head over to craftroulette.live and then find out what is Craft Roulette. It's on Friday and Wednesdays every week on YouTube. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Bye.